Are you full of fear? Do you have a lot of fears about a lot of things? Or maybe just a little fear about a lot of things, but still there's fear in you? Afraid to try certain foods, afraid to travel, afraid of terrorists, afraid of your neighbor. Just fear, you know? I thought I'd sit down today and talk about cause and effect. And to help me with that, I'm going to read from A Course in Miracles from Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 is all about the separation and the atonement, but we're working on Section 7, which is cause and effect. I love this universal principle. There's no beating around the bush. The thoughts I think create. Everything I think will manifest. It will take form somewhere on some level. So I need to guard my thoughts and be really careful about what I'm putting out there, because my thoughts become my words become my deeds. It all begins here. So let's read cause and effect. You may still complain about fear. You may still complain about fear, but nevertheless persist in making yourself fearful. Why is that? Why are we so afraid? And what are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of that? You know, if you knew that God has your back, front, and both sides, if you knew that the Holy Spirit is in you and with you and around you and above you and below you 24/7, and that you are created out of love, for love, at all times, it would be impossible to be afraid. So what's the problem? You're identified with the body. That's why you're afraid. That's why you have fear. You're identified as an ego. You believe in the ego. And the ego basically is a death wish. That's why you're afraid. Oh my goodness. So we're so identified as a body, we have these addictive thoughts. And the thoughts go round and round like loops in our mind. Thoughts like, I'm such an idiot. How often do you say that to yourself when you make a mistake? Can you recall in your mind where you said, oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I'll just never get it right. You know, the self-talk. Self-talk. It's a vibration, it's energy, and it's a low vibration. And when you are vibrating in that low energy, as within, so without. Cause and effect. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know it does not exist, but you do not. The Holy Spirit knows that fear doesn't exist. But your problem is you don't believe that. You have separated from God in your mind, which could never really happen, because that which created you as the beloved, the first cause is God said, let there be light, and the effect was the beloved Son. So in truth, you can never be separate from God, but you believe that you can. So now you're over here in the ego, and you're full of fear, but the Spirit in you knows that fear doesn't exist. Fear is the absence of love, as darkness is the absence of light. So we need to get back into alignment with light, with love. If I intervened between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with the basic law of cause and effect. You know, think about that. We need to learn that every thought creates something, it forms somewhere. Every thought becomes a thing. And so, because of free will, we think as we choose, we decide what we think, and then we get the results of those thoughts, and then we get to blame. The ego loves to blame. That's what it is. It's a blaming machine. But when you wake up and you begin to study Dharma, and you realize the truth, As I think, I create. Every thought takes form. So the Holy Spirit would never intervene between as you think and create, because that would be tampering with the basic law, that, which is a fundamental law that you really need to understand how it works. If I think it and it's negative, I'm going to find myself in a negative place. If I think it and it's happy and positive and uplifting and loving and kind, I'm going to find myself in a loving space. Cause and effect. Am I identified with the ego and the body? I'm in wrong-mindedness, in darkness, in emptiness, in nothingness? Or am I identified with the Spirit within me, in love, in fullness, in everythingness? It's your choice, but just know there will be an effect from the cause, the thoughts. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. So we have to learn that thoughts are creative. And we have to learn that if I think negatively, I get negative. When I think positive, I get positive. So Jesus goes on to say this would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. It is much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. Think about it. The thoughts that you think, the things you tell yourself day in and day out, and then you feel low, you feel depressed, you feel sad. You make up these stories. You make up these stories and you find yourself in all kinds of drama. The drama's not out there. It's in here. It all starts in here. You may feel that at this point it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true. You got to change your mind about yourself. You got to tell your mind thoughts. You have to feed your mind thoughts that uplift and inspire you. You're not used to miracle-minded thinking. No, because you've been programmed to think negatively. You know, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it. I'll never be as good as her. I'm not going to pass my exam. You know, I'm not pretty. I'm not smart enough. Well, I'm just not enough. That's what you've told yourself on some level throughout your entire life. I'm not worthy. You know, I can't. I won't. It shouldn't. That's what we've been programmed to tell ourselves. So we're not used to miracle-minded thinking. We have to train our mind. And Jesus says here, but you can be trained to think that way. You can be trained. All miracle workers need that kind of training. We've been programmed. We're like robots. And we have to train our mind to think differently. I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me. This is the voice of the Christ telling you. He can't let you leave your mind unguarded, or you're not going to be able to help him. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation, right? If I'm thinking negative thoughts, I'm not really creating, it's miscreation. But by the power of my thoughts, I'm getting results. The results of my thinking. If it's negative, so be it. If it's positive, so be it. We have to come to the full realization of the power of thought so that we don't miscreate. Otherwise, a miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight. A circular process that would not foster time collapse for which the miracle was intended, because the miracle collapses time. The miracle worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. Thoughts are so powerful. I mean, your mind will go to work and bring you whatever it is you think. So let's try this experiment, okay? Everybody just close your eyes for a minute. Go ahead, do it. Close your eyes. Okay, so now imagine that you have in your right hand this big, green, juicy, tart Granny Smith apple. Okay, see that in your mind. And I'm sure by now you're already feeling your saliva glands activated. They're starting to activate because of the juicy, tart, green apple that you have in your hand. Just the thought of that starts the saliva filling your mouth. Okay, so now bring that apple to your mouth and take a big bite. Take a bite of that crispy Granny Smith apple and feel the tartness of that apple. It's a bit sour. And feel your teeth grinding the crispy chunk of green apple between your teeth as you pulverize it enough to swallow it. Didn't you feel and taste the apple and it became a reality? That's because thoughts create. The mind brings to you what you think. Okay, so now, with your eyes closed, I want you to think about the smell of a garbage dump. The putrid smells of rotting food and decaying matter. Notice how you just want to plug your nose and turn away from the smell. And these are just thoughts. But something's being activated. Thoughts are so creative. You didn't go anywhere. You were just thinking these thoughts, right? That's how powerful our thoughts are. So we really need to be mindful of what we're thinking. Both miracles and fear come from thoughts. If you are not free to choose one, you would not also be free to choose the other. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear. So when I'm over here in darkness and I say, no way, I am choosing the miracle. I'm getting back into right-minded thinking. I'm going to identify with spirit. I turn away. I've rejected fear. Now it doesn't exist. I'm here in a place filled with love and light and peace and joy. By choosing the miracle, I have rejected fear, if only temporarily. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. Don't deny it. Expose your darkness. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of everything and everyone. You're afraid of God and of me and of yourself. You have misperceived or miscreated us and believe in what you have made. That's when we start thinking and creating God in our own image, which is fear-based. We are so full of fear. We create God in our own image, and we're already thinking we're a nobody and we're a nothing and we're standing in darkness. And that's what we think God is too. And the Holy Spirit and Jesus and the Christ. And you're petrified of your mind. You're petrified of everyone. You're petrified of your thoughts. You would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. See? And you know what? You could do a test to see, how thoughts empower you. Muscle testing, you can have someone like push your arm down and say something really uplifting and powerful, and they won't be able to budge your arm because it's a statement of truth. I am love, right? My name is Deanna. I am powerful. I'm created beautiful. I'm created in the image and likeness of God. I'm powerful. But if I start speaking untruth, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'll never be able to do it, I can never accomplish that, it's never going to work out for me, guess what? I become weak. Try it. Try that muscle testing and prove it. The fearful must miscreate. So when you're afraid and you're telling yourself this gobbledygook, all these nasty things and these low vibrational statements, you're going to miscreate. And that's because you misperceive creation. When you miscreate, you're in pain. You are in pain. The cause and effect principle now becomes a real expediter, though only temporary. Actually, quote, cause is a term properly belonging to God, and his, quote, effect is his Son. First cause, God said, let there be light, and the beloved Christ I am was created. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships totally different from those you introduce into miscreation. The fundamental conflict in this world, then, is between creation and miscreation. Creation, I and my Father are one. Miscreation, I'm identified with the ego. I'm a basket case full of fear. I'm in pain. I'm miscreating. All fear is implicit in the second, and all love in the first. The conflict, therefore, is one between love and fear. That's the conflict. It has already been said that you believe you cannot control fear because you yourself made it. And your belief in it seems to render it out of your control. You believe in fear so much so that you would defend the most insane ideas just to be right. Because that's what the ego likes to do, be right. Yet any attempt to resolve the error, miscreation, fear-based thinking, through attempting the mastery of fear is useless, in fact. You can't heal it by controlling anything in form. It's like moving your furniture around. You can't. You have to change your mind and get back into creation. I am one with spirit, and I am creating miracle-minded thinking, and therefore the effects of that will bring me peace. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. In the interim, however, the sense of conflict is inevitable, since you have placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist. That does not exist. But you've placed yourself in a position where you believe in fear because you've forgotten who you are. You are the image and likeness of everything that God is. You forgot that. And when you forget that, you place yourself in a position and you're just so full of fear, it's not even funny. I love this line. Nothing, fear, darkness, nothing and everything, love, peace, joy. Nothing and everything cannot coexist. That is such good news. To believe in one is to deny the other. Fear is really nothing, and love is everything. And love offers you everything. Love is abundance. Love is health. Love is peace and joy. Love is freedom. Love is smiling. Love is happiness. Love is uplifting and inspiring. Love is sweet. Fear is demonic. Fear is illusionary. Fear is self-doubt. Fear is, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, she's stupid, they're dumb. Fear is attack thoughts. Fear is grievances. Fear is sickness. Fear is depression. Love and fear cannot coexist. Think about that. Contemplate that. whenever light enters darkness, the darkness is abolished. What you believe is true for you. What do you believe about love, about money, about parenting, about marriage? What do you believe about your career? I mean, really, the thoughts that you think, pay attention to them, because those are thoughts coming from what you believe. So what you believe is true for you. In this sense, the separation has occurred. And to deny it is merely to use denial inappropriately. However, to concentrate on error is only a further error. An error is thinking without love. Errors in the mind are fear-based thoughts, identifying with the ego. And I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's in Spirit World. He said, ego means edging God out. And when you're identified with the ego, there's no light, there's no love. You're just in a dark, dark place. In this sense, the separation has occurred, and to deny it is merely to use denial inappropriately. However, to concentrate on error is only a further error. The initial corrective procedure is to recognize temporarily that there is a problem. So you tell yourself, okay, I'm not feeling so good. Maybe physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I'm not feeling really good. There is a problem here. But only as an indication that immediate correction is needed. This establishes a state of mind in which the atonement can be accepted without delay. The atonement means before time was. So when I'm on a timeline, when I'm in past, present, future, when I'm, going back and forth, oh my gosh, I'm identified with fear, I'm in the body, I'm identified with the ego. The atonement I must accept without delay means I am as God created me. I remember, oh my God, I forgot, that's why I became afraid, but now I remember, I am love, I am light, I am, all is well. I'm going to accept that without delay. It should be emphasized, however, that ultimately no compromise is possible between everything love and nothing fear. No compromise. You're either here or you're here. You're not a little bit here and a little bit there. No compromise. In this respect, can be given up. Let me read that sentence again. Very important. Time is essentially a device by which all compromise in this respect can be given up. So you're choosing. You have made the decision for love, for everything, for peace, no matter what is happening inside of you. You might have this drama going on. Sometimes this momentum has picked up because you've entertained negativity. Never mind. Just say to yourself, that's it. I remember who I am. Become so self-aware. You're aware of those thoughts. You're aware of everything else, but you're saying, I am. As the living Christ in me comes forth, I am everything that God is. I am claiming my divinity right here, even though this drama's going on. I am this, I am not that. It only seems to abolish by degrees because time itself involves intervals that do not exist. Remember, time, in truth, doesn't exist. We're on a timeline to remember who we are. Miscreation made this necessary as a corrective device. The statement, quote, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." That needs only one slight correction to be meaningful in this context. He gave it to his only begotten Son, the Christ I am. It should especially be noted that God has only one Son, and you're it. You're it. The Christ in you. That's it. If all his creations are his sons, everyone must be an integral part of the whole sonship. You matter. You count. You are the beloved Son. The sonship in its oneness transcends the sum of its parts. However, this is obscured as long as any of its parts is missing. Come home. Return to love. Get back in the light. You are needed. If there's one son missing, one you, whoever you are out there, thinking, I'm a nothing, I'm a nobody, I'm abandoned, I'm rejected, no one loves me. Claim the atonement. You are as God created you. You are absolutely loved and very, very lovable. Get back in the light. Get back into the love. Because the sonship in its oneness transcends the sum of its parts. That is why the conflict cannot ultimately be resolved until all the parts of the sonship have returned. Go home. Come back to the heart. Come back. You are love. Only then can the meaning of wholeness in the true sense be understood. Any part of the sonship can believe in error or incompleteness if he so chooses. You can, if you choose, this or this. Nothing, everything. It's your choice. However, if he does so, he is believing in the existence of nothingness. If you choose the error, the nothingness, the fear, the ego, the body, you're believing in nothing. You're believing it's empty. It's nothing. The correction of this error is the atonement. I remember who I am. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot that I was beautiful. I forgot that I am one with everything. I forgot that. I'm going to correct my thinking by remembering who I am. I am love. I am light. I am. I have already briefly spoken about readiness, but some additional points might be helpful here. Readiness is only the prerequisite for accomplishment. The two should not be confused. As soon as a state of readiness occurs, there's usually some degree of desire to accomplish, but it is by no means necessarily undivided. The state does not imply more than a potential for a change of mind. Change your mind. Confidence is God. And confidence cannot develop fully until mastery has been accomplished. I need to master my energy. Thoughts are energy. You've got to manage your energy. Mastery. Master my thinking. We have already attempted to correct the fundamental error that fear can be mastered. You can never master anything in form. Nothing. You will temporarily put a Band-Aid on it. It'll be a temporary fix. But seriously, if you don't change your mind, then that thing that you were trying to master in the ego's domain will sneak its little head up somewhere else. You can never fix anything in form. Form is a timeline. It's horizontal. You got to go up. You got to bring everything up to the level of the Christ mind. You got to offer it up. Live this way, not this way. We have already attempted to correct the fundamental error that fear can be mastered and have emphasized that the only real mastery is through love. Turn it over, give it up, return to love. Readiness is only the beginning of confidence. I am willing, I am ready. You may think this implies that an enormous amount of time is necessary between readiness and mastery, but let me remind you that time and space are under my control. The Christ in you, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. So I love this section. I know that if you think deeply, you contemplate on this, and if you can get this law mastered, as I think, I create, every thought I think creates form somewhere. There's no real drama happening. If it's not happening inside of me, it can never happen out here in my space. I mean, cause and effect is a fundamental law that I work on every day. I really do. I work on every day. And so it is that we turn toward the help of the Holy Spirit to bring us into alignment with truth, that we might overcome this addiction to thinking without love. So that's my message for today. Thank you to the Christ, to Jesus, the Holy Spirit, for these beautiful words coming to us from A Course in Miracles. And until I see you next time, remember this. I love you so much. You know that I do. I'll see you in a few days. Bye for now.